the same thing that undid them both is human greed.
I wanted to start out by speaking directly to the creator of the video I'm stitching. As a person who decides to dedicate themselves to education, I would highly suggest that you check out some actual socialist creators on YouTube to have a better fundamental understanding of socialism. I appreciate your sincerity in your caring for marginalized individuals, but your understanding of communism and socialism is a lot like where I was at over 2 years ago. It was very superficial and shallow. So first, you should check out videos by Second Thought and Hakeem. They do a very good job of doing an introductory understanding of socialist theory, and they also cover and debunk a lot of the misunderstandings of socialism and communism through pretty much since Stalin and Lenin. After you've checked out a few of their after you've checked out about a couple hours worth of their videos, because they cover a lot of information, I would suggest listening to or even reading Principles of Communism by Frederick Engels. It's actually a pretty easy read compared to, of course, Capital and even the Communist Manifesto. Don't bother reading that first. That really should be saved for a lot later. You should read State and Revolution by Lenin and read Reform or Revolution by Rosa Luxemburg. Now, I'd like to tackle the points that the creator made. This is just in general. The fact that they made very similar arguments that a lot of liberals make in regards to communism and socialism in general. The first point that they were making is that the fatal flaw of both communism and capitalism is greed. Now, by communism, liberals actually mean the government style that was used in the USSR at the time that it was created. This, of course, is not theoretical communism. It's not the same kind of communism that Karl Marx talked about. It is what Lenin called state capitalism. But this type of argument that they are making, that greed is the fundamental problem of both capitalism and communism, is fundamentally lacks material analysis. Capitalism as a system is a system predicated on the relationship between an owning class that uses privatized property to extract surplus value from a working class that has to sell its labor to acquire the things that they need to survive. The idea that communism is when the government does stuff, that is not what communism is supposed to be. It is a response to how the USSR and China and various other different countries that decide to use a socialist model use when they're trying to live with other capitalist countries. And it is because of this interaction with capitalist countries that they have to make a lot of decisions that are authoritarian in nature. What ultimately was the biggest downfall of the USSR, and really any country that decides to use socialism as an economic model, the moment that they start utilizing privatized property to create profit, and this is using the working class and it's being exploited, that is what causes the downfall of any system. We could superficially say that that is greed, but that is not a proper analysis. And the point that they were talking about, that, we've been fighting over this for 80 years. It's not been 80 years. We have been fighting about the relationship of capitalism and communism since before Marx. This concept of property should be communally owned and communally controlled and democratically handled has been going on for a very long time. But Marx was the first to actually analyze how capitalism exploits the people. When they were mentioning FDR, the thing is that FDR was using these social programs and these things that socialists have been fighting for decades, way before FDR decided to utilize them. He just uses them as a band-aid. You know, he didn't go far enough by taking the power of privatized property away from the corporation. And as soon as Stalin died and Khrushchev started taking power, that was really a big mark of the downfall of the USSR, with his reformist ideals and his practices that started allowing capitalist interference and capitalist inclusion. This idea of a mixed model ventures into what is called reformism. This idea that we could try to make a compromise between capitalism and communism, or capitalism and socialism. And no, you can't, because this is a very liberal idea that, oh, all we got to do is just sprinkle in a little bit of socialism. We just got to be like Norway. You know, we just got to have better social programs and regulations. No, the point is to remove this relationship of privatized property and the workers and the owners in their relation to the privatized property. Read Rosa Luxemburg's Reform or Revolution. She talks about this. This video has been pretty long, but I needed to stress that it's liberals like this creator who definitely mean well, but they go through the Western education system and obviously don't dip into socialist theory. And that's why I would suggest that the creator look at videos by Second Thought and videos by Hakim, just so that they can get a fundamental understanding and then actually venture into the real literature and understand the theory behind the revolution.